I'm so honored to be joined by special guests from Story Tapestries. We have someone from Every Mind, the National Alliance on Mental Illness of Montgomery County, NAMI, the Conflict Resolution Center of Montgomery County, and 4SW, the Secret Society of Science Songwriters from Northwest High School. All of our guests today add a special and unique perspective to today's proclamation. World Listening Day is officially recognized every year on July 18th and promotes a practice of mindful listening and encourages people to engage with their auditory environment in various ways. The theme for World Listening Day 2024 is Listening to the Weave of Time, and studies the relationship between humans and the natural world as mediated through sound. When I was on the Gaithersburg City Council following the racial unrest of the George Floyd murder, we were all in the midst of the pandemic. There wasn't a lot of listening going on. And so I organized an event, Talk, Walk, Listen, to encourage us to get outside of the house, connect with the environment, and to listen more to the voices of the unheard. When I hosted this event during the pandemic, we were still grappling with health disparities, public safety concerns, but listening, a fundamental skill, was more important than ever. Just last week, I joined my colleagues to recognize Minority Mental Health Month. We just heard about the peace event that's being organized in September. We're in the midst of a very contentious election season, and the vitriol that's being spewed on both sides is playing out right in front of us. So it's important for us to listen, to take a moment to pause and engage with our natural environment and those around us, and be more gracious to those around us. Whether it be through listening to music, the environment around us, or listening to people talk about their mental health, we know that our society is a better place when listening is used to organize, empower, and activate our diverse community. It's the most critical aspect of the role of being a public servant, as well as of our special guests who have joined us today, who have made listening a cornerstone of their work. And so now I invite them to share their thoughts, which will be followed by a special presentation. We'll hear briefly from Kelly Bostock from Story Tapestries, and she's here with Satara.
Thank you, Councilmember Sayles and the entire County Council for having us here today. Story Tapestries elevates voices and celebrates our community. In all the settings that we work in, from preschools through high schools, libraries to community centers, YMCAs to homeless shelters, and all the individuals we serve of all ages, from the youngest of children, young adults, adults to seniors. We use the power of the arts in all forms to create accessible, brave spaces for individuals to connect, to listen to each other, and most importantly, to be heard. I recently witnessed a group of seniors in Poolsville attending one of our storytelling workshops experience the true joy and laughter and confidence in sharing their stories with each other, their stories from childhood, their stories from adulthood, knowing that in that space, their voices held value and their stories were important. Lynn Rose with the Montgomery County Coalition of the Homeless said simply, bringing Story Tapestries to our shelter on Nebel Street was like bringing water to the desert. Joy, laughter, confidence grew in unexpected ways. On this World Listening Day and on Peace Day, may we all make an effort to be better listeners and to feel that our voices are always heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. And now we will hear from Ariel Gordon, Hotline Director with Every Mind.
I have a short crew here. It works out. Yes, thank you, Councilmember Sayles and the entire County Council for having us here today. Like Councilmember Sayles said, my name is Ariel Gordon. I'm the Hotline Director at Every Mind. We are a nonprofit organization based here in Rockville who's been providing mental health services and support for over 65 years. And on the hotline, we operate the Montgomery County hotline as well as the county services for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Our team is made up of dedicated staff and volunteers who are available 24 hours a day and 7 days a week to answer calls, chats, and texts from folks who are reaching out, looking for someone to talk to. We, in just the past year, responded to 37,000 contacts over the 12 months. And many of those folks who were reaching out were not necessarily an escalated risk of suicide, but were really looking for someone to listen. It's at the heart of what we do, and supportive listening is really the core of what happens on the hotline. In one example, we had someone reach out who was struggling with some complexities in their relationship, which again happens often. And one of the real benefits of the hotline is that we are a non-judgmental space who are, we're not part of the person's life, so we can kind of be that safe space to talk through what someone's experiencing. And they reached out really struggling with a difficult decision that they needed to make around their relationship. And after building some rapport with one of our counselors, they were able to really talk about next steps and how to move forward and the healing that they needed. So again, being that space and really listening, sometimes we have to remind our counselors that that is what it makes a difference, just to be answering the phone and to be providing that supportive listening space. So thank you so much for being here today and for being part of this recognition of such an important act that we can do for one another on World Listening Day.
Thank you, Ariel. And now we will hear from Nicole Lucas, NAMI's Director of Programs.
Good morning. Thank you, Councilmember Sayles, for including us in this event. At NAMI Montgomery County, we provide free programs that include presentations, support groups, and classes. The common thread that we provide across these programs is listening. We listen to our families, we listen to those who live with mental health conditions. And through providing a listening ear, it gives our community hope that those living with mental health conditions are not alone and they can live full, productive lives. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we'll hear from Christopher Page before a performance by our students from Northwest High School.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Sayles. Thank you, everyone. I'm Christopher Page with the Conflict Resolution Center of Montgomery County. Our mission is to strengthen our community piece by piece. How do we do that? By bringing people together to listen to each other. Because when you're in the midst of a conflict, you don't want to listen, you want to talk. And so what we do is put a mediator in the room to have them listen to each other. What we strive to get them to do is use the two ears and not their one mouth, so that they can hear what the other person is saying. We bring youth together, parents together, communities together, parents, families, businesses. We bring everyone in the community together to listen to each other, to resolve their conflict, not resort to violence, not resort to fighting, not resort to bickering, but resorting to resolving their conflict, strengthening our community piece by piece. Listen.
Always great to have our speakers here. And finally, we will hear from Shyla Ott and the performance.
Okay. Hello, we are Forest W, and I am Dasha, and this is Shiloh. We are the leadership of Forest W. Our club is a club at Northwest High School, and we are a nonprofit organization, and our sole purpose is to share our love for science through the form of music. We explore many different genres, including rap, pop, sometimes even rock, and even disco-style music, and we write songs about all different aspects of science. The song that we have prepared for you today is called Closet Full of Weather, and it explains the differences between weather and climate and kind of helps you memorize and gives you a way to like remember those differences. Weather's temporary, it's the clothes that you wear daily. It's what you get, not what you expect, but that's weather for you, no rain check. The sun, the rain, the shade, all is different, it's day by day. Not quite opposite, but not the same. Weather works in its own way. Let me lay down some ground rules, don't you dare confuse the two. Weather and climate should not trick you. Climate lingers and it hangs, lasts a while and doesn't change. In the desert, sun will shine, but not all the time until the next rhyme.
Our closet of clothes is climate, it is the season. Weather is the episodes, but climate weather is provoked. It'll leave you soaked. Climate changes from place to place. Polar areas, tropical space. Drier what you can expect. Climate lets you know what's next. Let me lay down some ground rules. Don't you dare confuse the two. Weather and climate should not trick you. Climate lingers and it hangs, lasts a while and doesn't change. In the desert, sun will shine, but not all the time until the next rhyme. Let me lay down some ground rules. Don't you dare confuse the two. Weather and climate should not trick you. Cause these two are not the same. Mix them up and it's a pain. Study them and know their names, and the rain will take this beat away.
Thank you. Let's give another round of applause for all of our speakers and performances. Now I will read the proclamation. Just want to thank everyone for being here to acknowledge this important day. World Listening Day was established in 2010 by the World Listening Project, a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting an understanding of the world and its natural sounds and how sound influences and shapes our lives. And whereas World Listening Day takes place every year on July 18th and is dedicated to fostering understanding of the world and its natural environment, societies, and cultures through the practice of listening observation. And whereas listening is an art that requires patience, attention to detail, and the ability to slow down, be present, and immerse ourselves in the sounds that shape our daily lives. And whereas organizations and individuals around the world celebrate World Listening Day by taking sound walks, listening to music, reducing noise pollution, practicing mindfulness, appreciating diverse perspectives, and whereas the COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated the underlying racial disparities and inequities that have plagued communities of color for generations, causing us to pause, listen, reflect on, and reimagine what our future should be. And whereas World Listening Day presents an opportunity to listen to our young leaders who work, play, and learn in our community and will one day inherit this community but cannot yet vote. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby recognizes World Listening Day as an essential day to devote ourselves to the critical art of listening and being more mindful of those in our environment. Presented on the 16th day of July in the year 2024 by the County Council and myself. Thank you.